As a real estate flipper, you go out into the marketplace and you start to see all kinds of different properties, and at first it can be really overwhelming trying to decide what to go after. Having flipped hundreds of properties myself, I've learned there's definitely a buyer for just about everything, but some properties are just better than others to flip. In fact, there are certain properties that are ideal to flip and will sell quickly and yield the highest profit. So in today's video, I want to discuss with you the 3 things that make a good property to flip so you know exactly what to look for. Coming up. Hi, it's Jerry Norton from FlippingMastery.com, and if you're new here to make more money in less time flipping real estate so you can live your dream life, subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released. The very first thing to consider when looking for a good deal to flip is the location. I'm sure you've heard before, the 3 most important things about real estate are location, location, location. And the reason is because if all things being equal, a buyer will pay more or less for a property depending on its location. Now I refer to this as understanding your market. Whatever county or zip code or city or even neighborhood where you flip houses, it's critical you understand how location impacts the value of homes. For example, there's an area in the city where I live in Mesa, Arizona, and on one street the homes are bigger and nicer, and on average the value of homes is $450,000, and then just one street over the houses are smaller and not as nice and much less desirable, and values are approximately $250,000. From one street to the next, values change from $450,000 to $250,000. That's location. Now I'm amazed at how many people get into flipping but don't take the time to learn their market. Don't make that mistake. Wherever you're flipping houses, make it a goal to understand the values on every single street in your market. Here's the fastest way to do it. Pull up to a street in your market, open up the Zillow app on your smartphone, zoom in until you can see the Zillow values in black. Now those numbers are just Zillow's estimates, but it gives you a good ballpark value. Then look at sold comps on that street during the past 12 months. Drive by them and see if you can recognize from the outside why each home sold for the price it did. Then look through pictures to see the interiors. Pay attention to how many days on market. That lets you know how quickly those homes sold. Then right there on the Zillow app, look at all of the current active homes for sale. Drive those as well and get a feel for what sellers are asking. Check out how long they've been listed. Now this is how you learn the market. Don't be lazy. Take the time to do this every day, and before long, you'll be a market expert. Then when a deal comes along, you'll know exactly where it is and what the values are. Knowing how the location impacts the value will help you decide if a house is a good area to flip. My general rule of thumb is that fixing and flipping in neighborhoods where the values are under $100,000 is not a good idea. Now if you're wholesaling, it doesn't matter. I used to get contracts in Detroit for $1,500 and then I'd wholesale them to investors for $3,000. Now the second thing to really look closely at when deciding if a property is a good deal to flip is the house itself. And I'm not just talking about the condition of the home and the repairs needed, because anything can be fixed and replaced. I'm talking about the features such as the size of the home, the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, the size of the lot, the layout and floor plan, garages and basements, ranches and 2 stories. Each market will vary, but buyers will pay more or less based on the features of the house. Now it's your job as a flipper to learn what is more and less desirable in your market. Generally speaking, for entry-level homes, a 1,200 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with a garage on a quiet street is the most common and desirable home for buyers. But every market is different. What happens if you're looking at a deal that's only a 2-bedroom, or only has 1 bath, or doesn't have a basement or a garage, or no pool, or low ceilings, or a small yard, or it's a frame house instead of a brick house? All of the features or lack of features will have a direct impact on the resale value, and it's your job to understand how to adjust the values accordingly. For example, if you're in a market where the majority of homes have a 2-car garage and you're considering a flip that doesn't have a garage, would you still flip it? Now think about it. A retail buyer is out shopping for a home. Are they going to buy your home with no garage or another home that has a garage? Now, I may still consider flipping it, but only if I could get the deal at a low enough price that when I flipped it, it was priced significantly lower than homes with garages, with the hopes of finding a buyer willing to pay much less for no garage. The point is, knowing how the features impact the value will help you decide if the house is a good deal to flip. Now, the third thing to look at when deciding if a house is a good deal to flip is the price. It's often said that you make your money in real estate when you buy. Now, why do we say that? Because when you buy is when you secure your equity or your profit. It's always about the buy. Now, this may seem obvious, but when it comes to real estate, almost anything is a deal if you get it for the right price. Now, I mentioned earlier that I used to flip really low-end homes in Detroit. I had a bank-owned real estate agent that would bring me the worst houses imaginable. I'm talking burned and vandalized houses in really dangerous neighborhoods. But there was a buyer for $3,000 for those homes. So I would get the contracts for $1,500 and then flip them for $3,000, and I'd make $1,500 on each deal, and I did dozens of them. Now, like I mentioned, when it comes to fix and flip, you want to be pretty selective because your end buyer is a retail buyer, so it's important that the location and the house are ideal based on your market like we talked about. But when it comes to wholesaling, it really doesn't matter because, like I said, there is a buyer for just about anything. Okay, so let's put it all together. When you're looking at a prospective deal, given the location and the features of the home, what is the right price to wholesale it to an investor for a profit or fix and flip it to a retail buyer for a profit? That is what you need to decide on each and every deal you flip. Now, the good news is there are specific formulas to follow that will help you do the math and determine the right buy price. In fact, I created a deal analyzer software where all you do is plug in a few pieces of information, and then using my proven algorithms, it will automatically calculate the buy price for you. Now, having this deal analyzer software is a game changer, so I'll give it to you for free. I'll put a link in the description below and you can get that. Now, thank you for joining me on this video. I hope you learned a lot. If you did, hit that like button right now and be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm dedicated to helping you make more money in less time flipping real estate so you can live your dream life. And finally, watch this next video where I go into detail about the 3 different methods to determine your maximum allowable offer. This will help you know exactly how much to offer on deals. Watch that video now, and I'll see you on the next video.